Hey devs, this is Marcus, DevRel at Edge and Node, and here we have a plugin for Remix. If any developers are out there who have not used Remix thus far, give it a go. It is an IDE that got me started in blockchain, and that was 4 or 5 years ago, and since then it has had a lot of new features released. So I wanted to pay homage to the developers who built the Remix IDE and build a little plugin of my own based on my learnings of the last 4 years. And so, of course, this plugin is not comprehensive. This is something that helps developers getting started in Remix and understanding smart contracts. It is the Graph Query Helper Remix plugin. And there's some cool features about it. Instead of going and talking about it, let's go ahead and just get building. If you haven't actually installed a plugin before, what you're going to need to do is get that plugin, clone that plugin from GitHub, and the plugin from me is the Remix Query Helper. I'll put a link to this in the video. You'll just clone this repo and get it running locally, and I already have that running locally for myself. And then to install a local plugin, you go to Plugin Manager, connect to a local plugin, and we'll call this the Graph Query Helper, and it must be running on a local server, and that local server is on 3000 right now. So you can get a lot of plugins. If you haven't tried any plugins specific to Remix, give it a go. There are hundreds of plugins, and when I first got started, I didn't really realize personally the power of these plugins, but browsing through and helping out this development environment is part of the whole thing. So it was really actually pretty cool how I was able to develop a plugin and deploy this plugin and get it running. So you can see right here, we have the Graph Query Helper. There it is. And you could paste the contract's ABI, and from there, get an idea of the type of queries that you could run with this smart contract you're developing. So the intent of this plugin is really to help developers start wrapping their minds around RPC calls versus queries to subgraphs and or substreams. So I've got a file compiled here, and this is right here. We've just got owner.json, and all you got to do is take any ABI that you're working on right here in the IDE, and you've got, there we go, boom. Just copy paste that right there, and you can generate some queries that are based on your smart contract. And if your smart contract should change, therefore your ABI changes, and you just drop that in there and just get yourself thinking about ways that you could think in terms of events. Subgraphs are very well optimized to index events, and you could start to see some of the ways that you might be thinking, how do I get the state information from blockchain to front end? And this is just a way to get developers going with that mindset. It's not going to, of course, deploy a subgraph. It's not going to actually go ahead and deploy a substream. It's just going to get developers started, which all I can do is sometimes hope to get developers started in understanding and thinking differently as they are building. So you could put an ABI in there and then explore the graph products. This is also specific to the ABI that you drop in there, and it compares RPC calls to different ways of getting this data. So in the end, it's meant to be a little touch point for developers. Shout out to the Remix developers who've created a plugin platform that was really easy to use. If you haven't used Remix plugins, they are really powerful. In fact, you just go ahead and Google, let's see, Remix plugins IDE. They have a solid plugins list, and you can go through and have a good time seeing what these are, seeing what they do, and from there, if you feel like it, build your own. It's a really cool experience to be able to plug directly into an IDE that is meant for blockchain developers. So with all that being said, I'm Marcus, DevRel at Edge and Node. Shout out to Remix and their development team. Great work, and I'll always be thankful. Getting me started into blockchain with your IDE meant a lot to me back then, and it means a lot to me now. Take care, everyone.